This is Madden 20 on EA Sports.
All right, thanks, Coach. EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. Today, we've got a Week 8 matchup on tap here between the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So out come the Steelers now for their first drive. They'll be led out by the #1 overall pick in the 2018 draft, the Oklahoma Sooner, Baker Mayfield.
That was a solid performance last week, wasn't it? 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, ran the team well, won the ball game. Bottom line, may not have been earth-shattering, but it didn't need to be.
They'll run on first down. Goddard, and some room to work. And they nearly get this all the way to midfield. Mark him down at the 49. Good yardage as he rumbles for 24 and a first.
This is a little bit like baseball here. Strong up the middle. Both sides want to be that. In this case, the offense ended up winning the ultimate battle.
And those big runs between the tackles, that's a little deflating for a defense, isn't it? Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
Well, the pass rush has been a real strength of late. They know how to get after the quarterback.
Absolutely. 4 sacks last week. That's their first one here. Anything in particular you've seen from them or on film?
I think that they're winning athletically up front, winning those one-on-one battles, but also when the offensive line wants to keep everyone in and mass protect, they know how to scheme their way back to the quarterback as well. Defensively here, you're facing a top-5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL, so when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
The competition comes up in so many different ways, and right now, this unit, their competition is who's going to get to the quarterback the most times. Had about 5 sacks last week. We just saw their first one of this game.
And that one hits a little too close to the goal line, and it continues into the end zone for a touchback.
Here we go. Set. 50. Plant. Hard. Hard. Kill. Jim. Leo. Go. Snap.
And he'll give it here to his running back. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. That'll move the sticks for the Browns, a gain of 12.
And there we see an early burst that makes him one of the leading rushers in the league.
Well, I want you to know, I listened to you yesterday when we were watching film. You said write down the word vision for him. It was on display there, wasn't it?
It certainly was, because he allows the blocks to set up in front of him. And if that continues, it'll be a long afternoon for those guys trying to play some defense.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. Right back to him on first down. The numbers for him from a week ago. 5 carries, a touchdown to go along with 124 yards.
They look like a team that really emphasized the running game in the offseason. They were going to build around it. Didn't matter if they were going to run gap scheme, power scheme, whatever. They've got a runner who finds yardage if you give him just a little bit of space.
Now a handoff here to his running back. And he will lose yardage back to the 34-yard line. It's a loss of 4. Now 3rd down.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage. And he'll be taken down well before the first at about the 36-yard line. Just a gain of 2 there, and it's going to bring up a 4th down.
Even though positive yardage was gained on that play, I think the defense has to be happy. Obviously, they were prepared for some trick plays coming into the game, and they looked very aware that those could happen on any given down.
Oh, a big decision here early. Look at this. They're going to go for it on their own side of the field. They'll try and throw for it here. And this is incomplete. Boy, a curious decision to go for it. Doesn't pan out. And it'll be a turnover on downs. So shall we say a bold decision to go for it, and that bold decision does not pay off.
And when you talk about bold, you're saying all caps?
All caps.
Yeah, without a doubt. Maybe they're telling their defense they have a lot of faith in them. I mean, that's how you have to spin it, is that you tell your defense, you know something? We were able to go for it there because you guys are so good. I'm not worried about things. That's the only explanation I can come up with in this situation.
Well, he better get ready to spin it for that post-game presser because you know he's going to be out.
He's going to have to spin it for his own locker room, frankly.
He'll be brought down on the 30-yard line after a gain of 6. Well, they were handed great starting field position on this drive, but now they face a 3rd and 4. From the shotgun, it's Mayfield. This is caught by Jackson. And inside the 20 before he's brought down.
I don't care who you put on him. He's going to be a handful in one-on-one throws.
Yeah, right now, you're right. They're in man-to-man. Maybe needs some safety help.
I would say that'd be a good idea. Double team him somehow. I'm going to have to make someone else beat me rather than let him shred my defense.
5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down. Well, look now at the starters on the defensive side for the Browns. They were terrific last week against Buffalo in that victory.
And the big thing for them was the interceptions. And you hear teams all the time talk about establishing themselves against the pass, you know, no-fly zones and things of that nature. This group had a bunch of them in last week's game.
And he's going to be brought down just shy of the 5 at the 6. These are his numbers from last week's contest. 19 carries, 72 yards, and a touchdown.
He's been a huge part of their winning streak because he establishes not just an identity and a tone, but the team relies on it. He takes care of the football, he gains yardage for him, chews up clock, and that's been a big part of why they're winning games lately.
Mayfield looks to throw toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
We always talk about receivers. If the ball hits your hand, you're supposed to haul it in, but it is hard to adjust to a pass thrown a little bit behind you.
That one was. All the momentum going forward. Couldn't contort his body back to grab it. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. So they're back at the 7 now for 3rd and goal. Working out of the gun, Mayfield. And tight coverage there. It's knocked away, incomplete. More problems here on 3rd down. They've converted only once so far in this first half.
And you know as well as I do in this league, if you don't win on 3rd down, it makes it hard to win a ball game because then you're relying on your defense, relying on your special teams. You've got to get it done with your offensive unit.
Been a bit of a dogfight thus far into the 2nd quarter now, and we do have our first points, a field goal.
Yeah, a lot of people say, wow, first action on the scoreboard, about time. To me, the action's been right there on the field, trying to figure out who could gain an advantage, gain some field position, finally get points on the board. I'm loving this kind of game.
And feels like kickers might play a big role in this one.
Yes, make sure you give them the respect they deserve. They could cost you a game or win you one.
Heading out as the Cleveland offense now as they get set to take over here. And on that last drive, Whitford on 4th turned it over. A good job by their defense, though. They held them to 3, but this offense, they've got to be a little bit better, a little bit more careful here.
And sometimes when you see these calls on 4th down, when they decide to go for it, it's not necessarily the coach saying, I believe in my offense. Sometimes the coach saying, I believe in my defense. I can afford to go for it here because if we don't get it, I don't think we'll give up more than 3, and that's exactly what happened there.
That factored in?
I do. I think that he had that in his mind going into the game, that I'm going to be aggressive on offense because I know I've got a defense that can hold up their end.
Check 26, check 26.
They go play action here on 1st down. Out to his left. Airing one deep, and that's caught inside the 30. A gain of 32 that time. For an offense that has not found the end zone yet, that's a big play.
There's the spark right there. The big play that they needed. Now they've got to go ahead and finish this drive and put this ball in the end zone.
So now then, the big play has them all the way inside the 30 now, 1st and 10. Now with the play clock down to 2, we're going to get a timeout here. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this second quarter.
Tighten up. Shift, watch the shift.
Throwing on first down. Hamlet going to throw deep for the end zone. And that's going to be caught for a Browns touchdown. In for the score. And the Browns have taken the lead. And he's a little bit on the shorter side as a receiver. Maybe sometimes for the defense, tough to find the little guys, right?
Yeah, sometimes they get lost in the traffic, but usually what it means is that rather than just winning with height or even speed, they use their quickness to find a way to get open.
Well, tall, short, wide, skinny, whatever, there it results in a touchdown. Extra point splits the uprights, and that makes it a 7-3 lead. The drive there only spanning 3 plays, and it's capped off by the Browns touchdown. This is taken about 7 yards deep, and no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Out comes the Steeler offense now, ready to see what they can do here. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points.
And into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. A big play there. His 4th touchdown on the year. And the Steelers are going to retake the lead. Not a whole lot to recap on that drive. Just 1 play, 75 yards to the house.
Yeah, it's a long way to go. And remember, rarely is it a straight line 75 yards, too. Got to have a little extra in there. So whatever the final number is, a well-deserved seat on the bench, a little oxygen if he wants it as well.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll take this one near the 25, call it the 26-yard line. The Browns offense trotting back onto the field. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked. But you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
It'll wind up being a loss of 2. And that'll make it 2nd and 12. First play of the drive goes the wrong way. Here's 2nd and 12.
Hey, team 6. Team 6.
Here we go on 2nd and 12. Airing one deep for Riddick. And got his man complete. Past the 20. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Browns touchdown. A big play there. 76 yards. And the Browns have retaken the lead. They erased that deficit pretty quickly, did they not? A 2-play drive.
What do we call that? Short-lived?
Very.
Very short-lived. 2 plays later, they're in the end zone and back out in front. We always talk about drives, don't we? Does 2 plays count as a drive?
Not really, but that second play was so good. I don't care what we call it. It was enjoyable to watch.
Let's go.
Baker Mayfield leads the offense out for their next possession. Been a decent start for him here in this first half, but bottom line, his team's losing. They got to fix something.
And it starts with him. He has to keep that little quarterback strut going right now to make sure his team sees him as confident. Continue to try and up his game, but just let him know, hey, if I'm around, if I'm the one calling signals and throwing the football, just follow me, we'll get there. Sometimes that will do more to elevate a team than anything else.
See if he has that confidence. Now a toss left side into the hands of his tight end. It's a Pittsburgh first down, a gain of 13.
There are so many things to watch for when you play defense, and reading your keys, you always hear about that, and having your eyes in the right place. Sometimes your eyes can fool you. How about that play action there? That sprang the big guy, didn't it?
Able to dump it over the top to him. And that one goes for about 6 as he's taken down just shy of the 45. On second down, Goddard And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. The tally there, -2 yards, brings up third down. They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. On third down, Mayfield. And he's going to find his man out of the backfield. That's complete. Pushing through tacklers at the 30. 1:54 left on the clock here in quarter number 2. Coming up at halftime, we remind you once again that we're going to check in with Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL as we reach now, hard to believe, the halfway point of the season. Time flying.
It certainly is. Time to get the sweaters out, my man.
This is caught. It's Decker. And they work this near the 5. He'll be stopped at the 6. They've moved the ball over 50 yards between this play and the last one.
There's a completion to the tight end, and I think that we're looking at something out of central casting, frankly.
Absolutely. I mean, size, the hands.
Speed. I mean, can flat out run. You put that whole package together, you light up the eyes of an offensive coordinator, don't you?
Now a nice play defensively on first down as this is knocked away and incomplete. On second and goal, Mayfield. And they'll go backwards here, losing yardage to the 14. They've been denied touchdowns in the red zone twice already. Here comes third and goal. Mayfield to throw it. And it'll be intercepted. Good positioning, and it's picked off. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Brandon, this is why golfers do their best to never count a score in their head before the ball goes in the cup. This looked like a slam dunk for points on this drive, didn't it? Instead, they throw an interception, and they're going to come away empty.
And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. And now the clock reads precisely 1 minute to go in the half. You want to run the 1-minute offense? This is a good test right here.
It certainly is, and definitely not a time to think about kneeling and going into the half. This is a chance to attack a little bit, but not having to get everything in one shot either. 10 yards here, 15 there. Work the sidelines, work the clock. Give yourself a chance for at least a field goal going into the half.
And he'll be tackled at the 23 after a gain of 3. Now 2nd and 7 from the 23. Here's a 2nd and 7. On the crossing route, complete. That's Saunders.
Let's go!
Brandon, so many times we see the crossing route start as a quick hitter, but in this play, he had time in the pocket and waited for him to clear going across.
Here I come! Here I come! Hey, Haywood! Shit! Check three!
On 1st and 10, Hamlet on the move to his left. Airing one deep for Riddick, and that is incomplete. Took a shot there on first down, but he couldn't reel it in. Well, the incompletion, yes, but maybe here not the worst thing in the world?
No, not on 1st and 10. Actually gives them a chance to regroup, relax just a little bit. They huddle up, talk it over. Then they get a chance to continue their drive.
And to give this time to the tailback. 20! And they do finally get him, but he makes it all the way to the 6. Now the Browns signal for the second of their timeouts as they stop it with 11 seconds remaining in this first half. Now a chance to make that big play really hurt. It's 1st and goal just outside the 5.
Hey, Alpha! Slam! Roll out! Hey! Watch the ship! Hey, watch the ship!
And he'll give it here to his running back. And the hole closes quickly here. He can fight only to about the 4. Now a timeout. 7 seconds left in the first half. Second and goal from inside the 5. Now a handoff looking right. And he takes this one in for a Brown score. A great effort there. in the final seconds of the first half. And the Browns are going to tack on to their advantage.
And that's a lead that excites a team as they head into the half. Good way to finish things off.
Yeah, able to extend that lead, and you always say it, that can totally change the complexion of half number 2.
Yeah, it changes your morale, changes your outlook. But even before that, let's see if they decide to kind of squib kick or what they're going to do on the kickoff, because you don't want to give up a big play right before the half ends.
Good point. That'll be taken in the end zone. And not wanting to risk anything here late in the half, he'll just take a knee, and they'll bring the football out to the 25. The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive. Time here for likely one play, then off to the locker room, and they're going to have some adjustments to make.
They certainly will, and I think a lot of people are thinking to themselves, all right, take the knee, get out of here, regroup. But how will the head coach and his staff approach halftime? Will it be angry? Will it be clinical? Will they be calm? Will they just let it all out? Who knows? I'd love to be a fly on the wall for this one, though.
That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. So here are the Browns to take over. They were winners a week ago against Buffalo, and they lead here with a 1st and 10.
Use off focus. Look at me. Score. Score. Ready?
On first down, Hobbs. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down.
Third quarter, and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
He'll have a 1st down past the 40. And all the way in. Touchdown, Cleveland. A big play there with touchdown number 7 on the year. And the Browns are going to tack on to their advantage. Still plenty of time left in the game, but now starting to pull away a little bit. Get some breathing room with that one.
And I don't want people to think that NFL locker rooms are cookie cutter, that everyone's saying the exact same thing in every situation. But I do know that all 32 teams have an emphasis on starting fast. Game, second half, no matter what. With those first 5 minutes, first 3, whatever. This was a big score to start the second half.
Get ready. Get ready.
Time for the Steelers offense now to get set for their first possession of half number 2. And their halftime hole now even deeper, and they need a big drive here just to answer the first touchdown of the second half scored against them.
They were down at the half. Now, as you mentioned, they're down a little bit bigger, but no time for discouragement. Just got to get back to it, right? Put your shoulder against the boulder and start pushing and try and get back to where you were to start the half.
Maybe a good spot to take a shot. Here's 2nd and a yard from the 34. They'll keep it on the ground. Goddard, 2 yards, good enough for a first.
2nd and 1, and people want to run the football. This is where every back in the league is supposed to do exactly what we just saw there. Pick up the first down.
Now a play fake here on first down. And Decker's got it. 12 yards that time at a Pittsburgh first.
His position, and he's listed as a tight end, but he certainly doesn't run like one, and that's what we're seeing more and more coming into the league. Those guys who can run, make plays after the catch, and gain that additional yardage.
And using that speed there to turn it into a pretty nice little gain. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. That's good for 21 yards and a first down. So a 1st and 10 upcoming from Browns territory now, down at the 31. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down. Maybe just a slight detour on what's been a strong drive. Here's 2nd and 11. They'll run it now out of the gun. And that one blown up quickly as he's going to be stopped before he could even get started. 3rd and 15 here after the 1st and 2nd down plays went in the wrong direction. From the gun, Mayfield. Well, the 2 men come together, and it's incomplete. Excellent work defensively, brings up 4th down. You can tell they were hoping for a flag there offensively. Several on the sideline motioning, hey, why not a penalty? Why not a penalty? What did you see?
Yeah, I think you've got to let them play, and the officials are instructed. If there's contact coming from both sides, no flag. Let them fight it out.
And forces fourth down. Well, listen, now no kick from 50-plus is a gimme, but here you're indoors in a dome. You'd think ideal conditions.
Yeah, and it's one that he would expect himself to make, not just us expecting him to make it. Over the years, my theory is very simple. The athletic ability of kickers continues to get better and better. Check their backgrounds. They were all county, all state, at other positions, not just soccer players. These guys expect themselves to be great as well.
You get me? He's not going to get me? Hey, Delta.
To throw on second down, Hamlet. The completion to Riddick. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. That one covers 29 yards, first down.
Never make the mistake that the slot receivers, especially the little guys like we're watching here, are just quicker than fast. A lot of them combine quickness and speed, and they catch a lot of footballs, as we just saw there. But the execution was a little lacking on this one, right? They might want to go back to the drawing board with that call.
Stop your whining. 59's Mike, 59's Mike. Check. There.
Looking to throw on second down. Hamlet, he finds Riddick, complete. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Cleveland. 25 yards for the touchdown. And the Browns are going to tack on to their advantage.
And this is obviously quite a performance. And most of the time when we talk about someone putting a team on their back, I think we're talking about a guy who runs the football. In this case, it's a guy out wide catching it, and he's done exactly that, truly leading his team right now towards victory.
3 touchdown catches. He's been the headliner. Just a 4-play drive that time. And it ends with a touchdown for Cleveland. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Pittsburgh's offense now heading back out onto the field. And here we are almost through 3 quarters of play, and this passing game still has not really found any kind of rhythm.
Put it mildly, because they're not even over 100 yards yet. And